Okay, so you have a hypnosis session booked in. You're going to help you work through some problem or to really unlock your best inner potential, bring out your best self. What are some of the things that you can do before the session starts, in the days leading up to it, the hours leading up to it, to really make sure you get the most out of the time and the money that you're putting into this? The first thing that I'd invite you to do is to make sure that you have the right expectations. Some people go to see a hypnotist because they buy into that whole mind control thing. So let's say they want to quit smoking, they'll go to the hypnotist and say, okay, I'm going to sit here, you make me stop smoking. That's not really how it works. The hypnotist can work with you to help bring out and help make those changes. But they're not going to do all the work for you. They can't. That's not how hypnosis works. So make sure that you're prepared to go in and to really put your best foot forward, to really show up, not just in body, but to show up in mind as well. And to do that, it can help to think of it like you're going on a date or like you're going on a job interview. And by that, I mean, you want to be comfortable. So you don't necessarily want to dress up. You don't necessarily want to dress too much down either. Wear whatever is the most comfortable. I usually recommend for women, if you have like a short skirt or a short dress on, maybe go for trousers instead, just because you're going to be sitting there with your eyes closed. You don't want to be distracted, and hypnosis can make you feel a bit cool as well. So making sure that you're comfortable but warm. And also with that idea of it being like a date or a job interview, you don't want to be too hungry, you don't want to be too full, you don't want to be too thirsty, you don't need to be like busting to the toilet. You don't want to be too caffeine, but you don't want to be too sluggish and sleepy either. So just whatever really works for you so that you show up and you're able to focus and really do everything that you need to do. So I recommend that you avoid drugs. If you need to be taking things for medical reasons, then obviously do that. But like showing up to see a hypnotist under the influence of like hallucinogens or something, that's going to get weird. It's not going to be great, probably. Even things like alcohol, being hungry, it's not going to help you. It's just going to make things harder for everyone. And again, like this idea of caffeine, if you normally drink a lot of caffeine, then drinking on that. You don't want to be having like withdrawals or anything in the session, but you don't want to be like hyped up and either. So you know what works best for you. You can do whatever makes sense. Now, I recommend double checking the logistics. Things like, do you need to catch the bus? Do you need to figure out the parking? Some hypnotists for the first session will want you to arrive 15 minutes early, just so they can have a bit of a question and answer, making sure that you understand the process and maybe do some hypnotic susceptibility tests like that. Who knows? But yeah, either way, I recommend double checking the logistics. If it's a virtual session, then making sure that you have a camera, a microphone, internet, all of that's working. You're going to get interrupted by screaming children. All the little things to make sure that it goes smoothly. Now, you might want to bring like a small bottle of water and a small snack. I often find with myself and with other people, hypnosis has a way of making you thirsty. Now, that might just be because you're spending an hour or so just doing something without taking like a water break, or it might be that there's some physiological processes involved, or it might be that water is just refreshing. It's symbolically cleansing, and having something to sip on at the end can be really refreshing. And yeah, sometimes I come out of a trance pretty hungry, sometimes I don't. But making sure that you've got something, especially if you have blood sugar issues that you need to be staying on top of, because trance can sometimes do some interesting things with your blood sugar. It's just something to be aware of. It doesn't always happen. I wouldn't even say it usually happens, but it can happen. And the final thing is to just take a deep breath and get excited about this. Most of the time, going to see a hypnotist is a really awesome experience. I mean, you might be going to see them for something very serious, and I don't mean to undermine that at all. But having someone guide you through a trance is just this beautiful moment between the two of you. It can be this sublime expression of your unconscious. You can tap in parts of your mind that you haven't felt since you were a child, or that you've never felt before. It can be really deep and moving and emotional and profound, and beautiful. And above all, it can just be so transformative. I make no guarantees, especially for other hypnotists, but you might find that your issue, whatever it is, disappears in 10 minutes, never comes back for the rest of your life. And that's something worth really getting excited about. And it's also worth, rather than just brute forcing your way through it, you are doing your best to make a better choice.